We now start module 3 of chapter 2. The title of this module is Continuity of a Function. We are all familiar with the definition of continuity for a function of real variable. It says that a function f defined on a domain D is said to be continuous in D if for any A belongs to D given epsilon positive there exists delta positive such that modulus fx minus fa is less than epsilon whenever modulus x minus a is less than delta. In this module, we discuss the continuity of a function of a complex variable, and we see that the definition is analogous to the case for a real valued function. We discuss some properties of continuous function, and we show that the composition of two continuous function is also continuous. We also prove an interesting result. The result is if f is continuous at z0 and f z0 is not 0, then there exists a neighborhood of z0 where fz not equal to 0. After that, we introduce the idea of uniform continuity, and we show that continuity does not imply uniform continuity, but uniform continuity always imply continuity. At last, we provide some example related to this module. So, we go to our slide. So, we start continuity of a function. First, we give definition of continuity. Let fz be a complex valued function defined in some neighborhood of a point z0, including the point z0 itself. Then the function fz is said to be continuous at z0 if for every epsilon positive there exists a delta positive such that modulus fz minus fz0 is less than epsilon whenever modulus z minus z0 is less than delta. And symbolically we write this as limit z tending to z0 f of z equal to f of z0. This means that for continuity at a point, the limiting value and the functional value at that point are always same. Alternatively, fz is continuous at z0 if zn tends to z0 implies f of zn tends to f of z0. A function fz is said to be continuous on a set S if it is continuous at all points of S. If a function fz is not continuous at z0, then we say that the function is discontinuous at z0, or z0 is called the point of discontinuity of fz. If we split the function f into real and imaginary parts, that is f of z equal to f of xy equal to u of xy plus I v of xy, where u and v are real valued functions, it is clear that f is continuous if and only if u and v both are continuous functions of two real variable x and y. As for example, if we consider the function fz equal to 1 by z. By simple calculation, we can write this equal to x by x square plus y square minus I into y by x square plus y square. Then we see that this function is continuous in the punctured plane, that is for all z except origin. So, to examine the continuity of a function f z at z equal to infinity, we just replace z by 1 by zeta, and then we examine the continuity of f of 1 by zeta at the point zeta equal to 0. Suppose that limit z tending to z0 f z is w0 and the function is undefined at z0. This means that the function is discontinuous at z0. However, by defining f of z0 equal to w0, the function can be made continuous at z0. Such type of discontinuity is called the removable discontinuity. If a function f z is continuous on a set S, which is a subset of C, the complex plane, then modulus f z, conjugate of f z and f of z conjugate all are continuous functions on the set S. Suppose that f and g are continuous at a point z0, then the sum f z plus d z, the difference f z minus d z, the product f z into d z are also continuous at z0. Also, the quotient f z by g z is continuous at z0 provided that g z0 is not equal to 0. So, now we prove a result. The composition of two continuous functions is continuous. Suppose that f z is continuous at z0, then f z is defined in some neighborhood of z0. Suppose that g of w is a function which is defined on f image of this neighborhood. Given that gw is also continuous at w0 equal to f of z0. Therefore, by definition of continuity, for given epsilon positive, there corresponds delta 1 positive such that modulus gw minus gw0 is less than epsilon whenever modulus w minus w0 is less than delta 1. Then replacing w as fz and w0 as fz0, we obtain modulus g of fz minus g of fz0 is less than epsilon whenever modulus fz minus fz0 is less than delta 1. Since fz is continuous at z0, for this delta 1 positive, there corresponds a delta positive such that modulus fz minus fz0 is less than delta 1 whenever modulus z minus z0 is less than delta. Now, combining these two results, we obtain modulus g of fz minus g of fz0 is less than epsilon whenever modulus z minus z0 is less than delta. That is, we can say that modulus gf of z minus gf of z0 is less than epsilon whenever modulus z minus z0 is less than delta. This proves that the composite function gf is also continuous at the point z0. Now we prove another interesting result. The result is, if a function fz is continuous at z0 and if f z0 is not 0, then there exists a neighborhood of z0 in which fz is non-vanishing, that is fz is non-zero. So, since fz is continuous at z0, from the definition of continuity for given epsilon positive, there exists a delta positive such that modulus fz minus fz0 is less than epsilon whenever modulus z minus z0 is less than delta. We denote n delta z0 by the region modulus z minus z0 less than delta. Since f z0 is not 0, we have modulus f z0 is positive. If possible, we assume that fz equal to 0 at some point in n delta 0 except the point z0. Then from above relation we obtain modulus f z0 is less than epsilon. Since epsilon greater than 0 is arbitrary, choosing epsilon equal to half modulus f z0, we obtain a contradiction. Therefore, we can say that fz is not 0 for all z belongs to n delta z0. We prove another result. If a function fz is continuous on a bounded and closed set S, which is subset of C, then mod fz attains its minimum and maximum in S. So, here fz is equal to f of xy is equal to u of xy plus I v of xy, where u and v are real valued functions of x and y. Since fz is continuous on S, obviously u of xy and v of xy are also continuous on S. Therefore, modulus fz, that is equal to root over u square plus v square, is a real valued continuous function on the bounded and closed set S. Hence, by real calculus, we say that mod fz attains its maximum and minimum value on S. So far, we have discussed the continuity of a function of complex variable. We prove some results. Now, we recall the definition of continuity. A function fz is continuous in a domain D if for any z belongs to D, for given epsilon positive, there exists delta positive such that modulus fz minus fz0 is less than epsilon whenever modulus z minus z0 is less than delta. Normally, here delta depends on epsilon and the choice of the point z0. That is, delta is a function of epsilon and z0. If z0 changes, then the value of delta changes. So, finding delta which plays for all point in that domain, that is, if delta is only a function of epsilon, that gives rise the idea of uniform continuity. We now discuss uniform continuity for a function of complex variable. Then we prove that uniform continuity always implies continuity, but converse may not be true. We give some example in support of this statement. Now we go to our next slide. So we discuss uniform continuity. A function fz is said to be uniformly continuous on a set S which is a subset of C if for given epsilon positive there exists a delta positive such that modulus f of z1 minus f of z2 is less than epsilon whenever modulus z1 minus z2 is less than delta for all points z1, z2 in S. In this case, the existence of delta is independent of the points z1 and z2 in S. So now we proved that if a function fz is continuous on a bounded and closed set S which is obviously subset of C, then it is uniformly continuous there. So, proof, if possible, we assume that the function fz is not uniformly continuous on S. Then there exists an epsilon positive and two sequences Pn and Qn in S such that for all n modulus Pn minus Qn is less than 1 by n and modulus f of Pn minus f of Qn is greater or equal to epsilon. Since the given set S is closed and bounded by hypothesis, every sequence Pn contains a subsequence Pnk which converges to Z0 in S. Say, let sequence Qnk be the corresponding subsequence of sequence Qn. Then from the triangle inequality we see that modulus Qnk minus Z0 is equal to modulus Qnk minus Pnk plus Pnk minus Z0 and that is less than modulus Qnk minus Pnk plus modulus Pnk minus Z0. And from this we see that Qnk tends to Z0 as k tends to infinity. Again, for subsequence Pnk and Qnk we obtain from number 4 modulus Pnk minus Qnk is less than 1 by nk and modulus f of Pnk minus f of Qnk is greater or equal to epsilon. This is number 5. Since Z0 belongs to S and f is continuous at Z0, we have f of Pnk tends to f of Z0 and f of Qnk tends to f of Z0 as k tending to infinity, which contradicts equation number 5. Hence, fz is uniformly continuous on S. So now we give example. So consider the function f of z equal to z minus ia by z square plus a square and discuss its continuity at the point z equal to ia. So obviously the given function is undefined where the denominator is 0. that is at z equal to I a, but limit z tending to I a f of z, this is equal to limit z tending to I a z minus I a by z square plus a square. So, if we factorize z square plus a square, then we get z plus I a and z minus I a. So, from this, by simple calculation we obtain limit z tending to I a f z is equal to minus I by 2a. Therefore, if we define f of z equal to z minus I a by z square plus a square if z not equal to I a and equal to minus I by 2a if z equal to I a, then the given function is continuous at z equal to I a. So, another example, is the function f z equal to z square plus 2 minus I into z minus 2I by z minus I continuous at z equal to I? If not, can it be made continuous by redefining the function f z at z equal to I? So, here obviously the given function is undefined at z equal to I, but limit z tending to I f of z, this equal to limit z tending to I z square plus 2 minus I into z minus 2I by z minus I. So, after simple calculation we obtain this equal to limit z tending to I z minus I into z plus 2 by z minus I, and this equal to limit z tending to I z plus 2, and putting the value of limit we get this equal to 2 plus I. Therefore, if we define the function f at the point I by f of I equal to 2 plus I, then the given function f z becomes continuous at z equal to I. So, we give another example, prove that the function f defined by f z equal to x y by x square plus y square if z not equal to 0 and f z equal to 0 if z equal to 0 is discontinuous at z equal to 0. So, the given function is f z, that is f of x y, that is equal to x y by x square plus y square if z is not 0 and equal to 0 if z is 0. The function vanishes for all points on the two axes, and hence the limits along the two axes are equal. However, along any straight line of the form y equal to mx, we obtain limit z tending to 0 f of x y equal to limit x y tending to 0 0 x y by x square plus y square. So, this equal to, if we put y equal to mx, this gives limit y limit x tending to 0 m x square by x square plus m square x square, and that is equal to m by 1 plus m square. Obviously, this limit depends on m. Since m is arbitrary, the given function is discontinuous at z equal to 0. So, now we give another example, prove that the function f z equal to z square is uniformly continuous in mod z less than 1, but the function gz defined by 1 by z is not uniformly continuous in mod z less than 1. So, solution: we take 2 points z1 and z2 in mod z less than 1 such that modulus z1 minus z2 is less than delta. Now, modulus f of z1 minus f of z2 is equal to modulus z1 square minus z2 square, and that is equal to modulus z1 plus z2 into modulus z1 minus z2, and this less or equal to modulus z1 plus modulus z2 into modulus z1 minus z2. Since mod z1 less than 1 and mod z2 less than 1, from this we get modulus f z1 minus f z2 is less than twice mod z1 minus z2. Therefore, choosing delta equal to epsilon by 2, we see that modulus f z1 minus f z2 is less than epsilon. Hence, the function f z equal to z square is uniformly continuous in the region mod z less than 1. So, next we prove next part. If possible, we assume that the function gz equal to 1 by z is uniformly continuous in mod z less than 1. Then, from the definition of uniform continuity, for given epsilon positive can find a delta, we take here delta varies from 0 to 1, that is 0 less than delta less than 1, such that modulus g z1 minus g of z2 less than epsilon whenever modulus z1 minus z2 is less than delta for all points z1 z2 in the given region, that is in mod z less than 1. So, now letting z1 equal to delta and z2 equal to delta by 1 plus epsilon, we see that both z1 and z2 lies in the region mod z less than 1, and modulus z1 minus z2, that is equal to delta minus delta by 1 plus epsilon, that is equal to epsilon by 1 plus epsilon into delta, and since epsilon by 1 plus epsilon is always less than 1, we obtain modulus z1 minus z2 is less than delta. However, modulus g z1 minus g of z2, that is equal to modulus 1 by z1 minus 1 by z2, that is equal to modulus 1 by delta minus 1 plus epsilon by delta, and that is equal to epsilon by delta, which is greater than epsilon because 0 less than delta less than 1. So, this gives a contradiction. Hence, the given function gz equal to 1 by z is not uniformly continuous in mod z less than 1. At the end of this module, we came to know the definition of continuity, some properties of continuity, continuous function, uniform continuity, and we came to know an important result which says that if f is continuous at z0 and f z0 is not 0, then there exists a neighborhood of z0 where fz not equal to 0. Also, some problems are discussed in this module. For more problems, please see the self assessment part of this module. you can also see the reference books. So, this ends module 3 of chapter 2.